After heartbreak in all the cup competitions, we enter the season finale with just 4 games left in the Premier League to secure Champions League qualification for the first time in West Ham's history. Can we get the job done? Let's find out. But as ever, if you're enjoying the series so far, please feel free to like and subscribe, and let's get into today's episode. And of course, we will be starting out with your comments. One player that for some reason keeps coming to mind when thinking about a new centre-back is Josip Sutalo from Ajax. Ajax are partial to moving him along this summer as he has really settled in Amsterdam this year, and I feel like a move to London wouldn't be entirely far-fetched, considering how coveted he was last summer. Now, I've spoken time and time again about my lack of quality at centre-back. Yes, I've got 2 81 rated players in my starting 11, however, with neither of them at the required level to take us to the next stage in our development. Plus, with me having a 35-year-old 71 rated reserve in Ogbonna whose contract's expiring in 2 months, and a former captain in Kurt Zouma whom at 29 years of age and only 79 rated is not exactly going to be the long-term option for me either. The 24-year-old Croatian Josip Sutalo could absolutely be a cracking option for me. You are absolutely right. On FIFA 23 last season, he was a highly coveted wonder kid, just waiting for that move away from Dynamo Zagreb. And since getting it to Ajax, you are totally right. He hasn't exactly hit the ground running. However, he does still have a lot of hype surrounding him, and with him being just 24 years of age and still having 13 international caps to his name, and with him having the best years of his career up ahead of him, once again, he could be a great option once my scout report comes back in. David Raum would be a good option at left back to keep an eye on. He was linked with West Ham last year. At centre-back, Branthwaite at Everton, Sutalo at Ajax, and Nkape at Leverkusen would be excellent pickups as well. As you pointed out, Scott would look good at West Ham. You could also try Bowen at an advanced midfield to bring Somerville back into the starting 11 as a free option for improving your attacking setup. Keep up the save, man. You have great commentary. Well, firstly, thank you very much for the compliment. I do very much appreciate it. Now, obviously, there's a lot to unpack there, but let's get started with this man, David Raum, a man who in my previous RB Leipzig career mode was an absolute stalwart at left back for me, putting in terrific performance after performance after performance down that left-hand flank. And yes, I totally agree with you, he could well be a very decent option for this West Ham United team as well, especially with Aaron Cresswell's contract expiring in 2 months, and me certainly needing an upgrade on Emerson on the left-hand side of my defence. I am very, very interested to see what my scouts have got to say about him and potentially how much he might end up costing me in the summer. Now, obviously, I've spoken time and time again about my struggles and my frailties at centre-back, and Jared Branthwaite is a man who has come up several times in several different comments as a suggestion to bring to the club. He was brilliant in my Everton career mode only a couple of career modes ago, but as you can see, he has made a big move to Atletico Madrid, and with him just being 21 years of age and already playing Champions League football, would he want to make the step down to West Ham United, having just got his big move to Spain? I don't know, I'm not quite sure. However, Alex Scott, yet again, is another man who's been heavily recommended by several of you. With him just being 74 rated overall, he's not exactly going to come in and pull up trees in the heart of my midfield. And whilst James Ward-Prowse is more than likely going to be the man that I'm going to try and improve on in central midfield, with him just being 79 rated and 29 years of age, with him being my club captain, and with him being 5 points overall higher than Alex Scott, he might be a bit miffed if the young Englishman, 9 years his junior, comes in and usurps him in the starting 11. However, there is no denying he has wonderful potential, offers versatility not just to play in central midfield but central attacking midfield, and could be a fabulous long-term option for the club as the career mode progresses. Once again, another one to keep your eye on. As for Jared Bowen, I hadn't really considered putting him in that cam position, it must be said. However, with him having the versatility to play on the right-hand side of midfield and up front as well, and he's proven by his stats with 17 goals overall in 45 appearances that he can offer us a lot of different options in different positions, with many clubs sniffing around for the signature of this man, Lucas Paquetá, my highest rated player at 85. It is looking highly likely in the summer that this could be the last season for Lucas Paquetá at West Ham United, and perhaps moving Jared Bowen into that more central position could well be an option. And obviously, if I was to do that, it would obviously allow me to move Kudos back over to his more natural right-sided place on the right-hand side of my midfield, and obviously then that of course opens up the opportunity for Somerville to take his place back in the starting 11 on the left-hand side. And to be fair to Somerville, I do think he does deserve a fair crack back into my starting 11. Having joined the club in the summer, he has already knocked up 8 goals and 6 assists in 40 appearances overall, and that is with him losing his place in the starting 11 to Kudos on the left-hand side of midfield. And it is that man who has struggled since moving over to the left-hand side of midfield, it must be said, despite his lofty rating of 84 and his potential going up by 4 points so far this season. I certainly think come the start of next season, I'm going to have to try and see if I can find a place back in the starting 11 for this man, Somerville. And obviously, depending on what happens to the fate of this man, Lucas Paquetá, that may well shape my transfer decisions as the summer transfer window opens. Can you please sign Eze in the next transfer window, as he'd be great in your midfield? And can you please keep posting this West Ham career mode, as it's so good? Well, once again, I do really appreciate your comments, and thank you very much for your compliments. And speaking of this man, Eze, once again, it brings us back to that central attacking midfield position. And my word, what a potential replacement we might be able to have on our hands. Not only is he lighting up the Premier League for Crystal Palace in real life, but he also offers versatility, not just to play in central attacking midfield, but also centre midfield and left midfield as well. And obviously, as I said, depending on the outcome of the summer transfer window and which holes I need to plug at the beginning of next season, perhaps there might not be a better fit than the 25-year-old Englishman. Once again, let's see what my scouts have got to say and how much Crystal Palace might want for his services. Speaking of transfers though, it's time to switch tact and actually start talking about some departures, as Kurt Zouma has decided he's had enough. Once again, he's gone complaining to the media about a lack of game time, and now he's come knocking on my office door, demanding to be released from the club and officially submitting a transfer request. And with Aston Villa coming in with a bid of £14 million for him, and following successful negotiations with the Villa boss Unai Emery, we'll be saying goodbye to our former club captain. And with him only having 1 year left on his contract and only 79 rated, I've got to be honest, I'm pretty happy with the deal we've struck. And once again, that confirms that the centre-back position is certainly going to be my #1 priority come the start of the new season. So once again, let me know down below, are you happy with all of these different options that I've got on my shortlist, or are there any other players, defensive players, that you would like to see in a West Ham United shirt come the start of the new season? Let me know down below what you think. However, turning our attention back to the football, and after getting knocked out of the semi-final of the FA Cup, after losing the final of the Carabao Cup, and not even getting to the quarter-finals of the Europa League, after a goalless stalemate against Liverpool in the Premier League, our fate for our qualification to the Champions League does still remain in our hands. However, with that team Liverpool just being 2 points behind us, the pressure is really starting to mount. And whilst our next game is up against a Chelsea team that are mirroring their poor performances in real life here on this West Ham United career mode, I'm sure our arch rivals from the other side of London will be absolutely desperate to put an end to our Champions League fight and make sure that we do not secure qualification and do not secure what will be a famous 3 points against them. And as you can see, no changes to my usual starting 11. It is Areola in goal, Van Ewig starts at right back, Ajerd, Mavropanos and Emerson at the back, James Ward-Prowse partners Alvarez in midfield, and just above them are Jarrod Bowen, Lucas Paquetá and Kudos, and of course it is the big Swede Gaio Gyökeres who starts up front. Well, it's a huge game here today and an absolutely vital 3 points that we hope to secure here, but it's Chelsea at the moment who are in the ascendancy as they go into my box here. Pellegrini with a wonderful strike, and they've just carved open my defence inside the opening 10 minutes. Chelsea take a 1-0 lead from absolutely nothing. Well, once again, my defensive frailties starting to rear their ugly head as Chelsea, it was just all too easy for them to ghost into my box. My defenders didn't go tight enough, they didn't shut their men down, and in the end it's easy for Pellegrini. That's still a brilliant strike, it must be said. Chelsea lead 1-0. James Ward-Prowse, we've got to try and see if we can arrest this terrible start and make sure we get ourselves back on track here as Kudos now has it. Kudos, though, is going to try and go one-on-one. He's gone one-on-one. He's gone round the midfielder. Can he get round Reece James? Wriggling around, trying anything, but Reece James holds firm. James Ward-Prowse keeps hold of the ball, though. Gives in to Alvarez. On his right, lines up a shot. Great save. It's going to be James Ward-Prowse who is going to take the resulting corner, the tried and trusted tactic of flinging it into the box, and Gyökeres. Oh, my word. That would have been a sensational goal if he'd have managed to pull that one off. On the volley, the lovely bicycle kick. And it just looped over the bar. That would have been a contender for goal of the season. Into Kudos. Much better response here after a bit of a shocking opening 10 minutes. And we just lose out, but Kudos almost wins it back. Tries to get it off Reece James. Does get it off Reece James, but the referee blows for a foul. Into Caicedo for Chelsea to bring it forward into Marlon. Pellegrini, the goal scorer, full of beans now and full of energy to get away from the challenge of Alvarez, but he's done a really good job of tracking back and winning it back. And Lucas Paquetá now is going to try and bring this one forward. Floats it over to the left-hand side into Kudos. Really nicely done and really nicely taken down, and it's really poor in the end. And I thought James Ward-Prowse was going to be able to get on the end of it. He just got caught in two minds there, whether or not to pass the ball or whether or not to cross it. And in the end, he got neither right. Gyökeres, though, wins it back in a dangerous position. Alvarez has it once again. He's looking for an option. This time, Lucas Paquetá wriggles away from a challenge. Back into Jarrod Bowen. Back into Lucas Paquetá on his left now. Blocks off by the defender. Kudos now wins it back high up the field. Drives into the penalty area here. Manages to get away from Reece James. Cuts it back into Gyökeres. Slams it against the goalkeeper. Sanchez, though, picks out the ball out of the air. We are knocking at the Chelsea door, but we can't break it down at the moment. Well, the start of the second half is upon us. We've got 45 minutes to try and turn this game on its head. We've certainly had the better of the two opportunities since going 1-0 down. In fact, we've limited Chelsea to absolutely nothing, but yet still we find ourselves 1-0 down. We still have not been able to find the back of the net. We must make a change to that here in the second 45. Kudus looking for the overlapping run of Emerson, manages to find it, and now the Italian can try and drive down right onto the edge of the box here. Can he try and pick out his man? Floats a lovely, floated ball right over to Gyökeres, who just couldn't get his head on it. In the end, Caicedo gets it clear. Marlon now away for Chelsea. Into the goal scorer Pellegrini. Back into Caicedo. Look at this relentless press from the West Ham attackers here. Reece James skips away from the challenge of Kudus. Caicedo now brings it out. This is absolutely lovely play from Chelsea. And they've done a really good job of beating the West Ham press. Absolutely beautiful. Enzo Fernandez, though, goes and gives it away after getting all the hard work done. And now Jared Bowen to bring it forward. He then loses it. My word, neither team can keep hold of the ball here at the start of the second half as Pellegrini manages to go past Van Ewig. Now he drives into the box. Azure trying to get back in the end. Forces Areola into a save. And somehow they still manage to keep hold of the ball. Areola, what are you doing? He just palms it straight out into the path of Nicholas Jackson. And Chelsea say thank you very much. They've taken a 2-goal lead here at Stamford Bridge. Well, I thought we'd done enough to clear our lines, but calamity at the back. Azure just got muscled off the ball, and then it was fired at the goalkeeper, who just palmed it straight into the path of Nicholas Jackson. And of course, he's not going to miss from there. Chelsea double their lead, 2-0. Azure with the free kick here, takes it short into his central defensive partner, Mavropanos, who finds himself advanced. Paquetá tried to just run it around the corner into Gyökeres, couldn't quite find it, and now have our heads dipped here. And now Chelsea in the ascendancy, looking for a third to really put the final nail in our coffin here. Mudryk now on the left-hand side, lovely little turn, plays it in down in the channel into Nicholas Jackson, who's got the beating of Alvarez for pace here. Nicholas Jackson finds a nice ball back into the Ukrainian. Mudryk, he switches it onto his right. Pellegrini tries to strike, it's blocked off. Somerville on as a substitute, wins the head, gets it clear, doesn't get it very far though as Pellegrini wins back the loose ball. Mavropanos just about blocks him off, but they've still got it here into the box. 3-0, and that is game over here. Pellegrini slides on the floor, he gets his second, and he gets Chelsea's third. Well, they just stood off of him. Mavropanos was trying to challenge, and in the end, Emerson just didn't go for it. Too little, too late, and it was just so easy once again for Pellegrini to pick his spot. I am furious, 3-0. James Ward-Prowse over to Van Ewig. This is a really difficult one to take here. I really thought we had it in us to try and beat Chelsea, but that is just evidence of how poor our performance has been here today. Alvarez wins it back high, gives it over to Gyökeres. He's going to try and look down the right-hand side into Kudus. Kudus is going to try and float it across. Cucurella blocks. Chelsea have been absolutely brilliant defensively here today. Mudryk now down the left-hand side. Surely there's not going to be a fourth here with about 5 minutes remaining on the clock. Our second half performance has not been at the level it needed to be, and certainly hasn't been at the level as the first half one was. And Chelsea now are just dancing their way round my midfield. Pellegrini again full of beans into the box. No one challenging. Eventually Azure, the last man standing. My word, he needed to put that challenge in, and he did just that. Lucas Paquetá now is going to try and float it over to Somerville. Can the young Dutchman try and find his way into the box? Too heavy a touch. Too easy for Sanchez. The referee blows for full time. Well, is that the game that potentially costs us Champions League football for next season? A huge moment for us to lose our heads and to lose what would have been a much needed 3 points. As a full-time hero finishes, Chelsea 3, West Ham 0. And with Liverpool beating Spurs in their other game now, with just 3 games remaining, they've leapfrogged us into 4th. It is out of our hands. We're a point behind. And now with just Luton Town, Crystal Palace and Manchester City away to finish off the season, we've just got to hope that Liverpool drop points on their final run-in as well. Fortunately enough, though, it is a fantastic response. Despite James Ward-Prowse missing a penalty in the 12th minute, we have responded brilliantly. A goal from Paquetá, Gyökeres, Jared Bowen, Van Ewig and Kudus in the 79th minute means we beat Luton Town 5-2. And once again, we're going to get straight back at it and try and get things back in our own hands here, as we're going to stay in London once again, this time against another rival in Crystal Palace. We've got to get ourselves back to winning ways once again. And there will be only one change to the team that got thumped by Chelsea, and that is Somerville coming in on the left-hand side as he replaces Kudus, who drops to the bench instead. Mitchell for Palace. Into Franca, chased down by Van Ewig, but he manages to wriggle away, and that is a lovely defence-splitting pass all the way over to Mitchell on the left-hand side, and now Palace are bursting in the action, and Odegaard with a lovely finish, and we can have absolutely no complaints about that whatsoever. Once again, our defence is carved apart inside the opening 10 minutes by another London club. This time, it's Crystal Palace, and it's arguably an even better goal than Chelsea's first. A wonderful finish from Odegaard after some brilliant build-up play. Frustratingly, once again, we find ourselves 1-0 1-0 down. Well, this episode is not going to plan whatsoever. We've only played 2 games so far. We've lost the first one, and now we find ourselves 1-0 down in the second. We've got to make a change, and we've got to do it quickly. Mavropanos now into Somerville, who surely has the opportunity now to try and burst down this left-hand side, and he's going to play it into the channel of the big sweet Gyökeres, but he doesn't have anyone in the box. It's him who I want in the box here, but he's got no options, so instead has to hold it up. Plays it into Alvarez. Alvarez plays it into Jared Bowen. That is a wonderful, deft finish, and he just cut it past the wrong side of the goalkeeper to get us back on level terms here. 18 minutes played, and my highest goal scorer this season strikes once again. Alvarez with a lovely pass into his feet, and Jared Bowen just took it away from the defender, and that is a beautiful finish, low and hard, past the goalkeeper to his left. He had no chance, and the scores are back level, 1-1. Marquez, oh, he's challenged by Lucas Paqueta, and now Gyökeres can bring this one away. Oh my word, the big Swede just continues to score absolutely wonder goal after wonder goal after wonder goal, and he's done it yet again. And within the space of 5 minutes, we've completely turned this game around. Lucas Paqueta won it back high. Gyökeres just drove forward, but he still had a lot to do on the edge of the box. Drove it hard and low, just like the previous goal, into the bottom left-hand corner. The keeper had no chance. Perhaps that's his Achilles heel, as now the score is 2-1 West Ham. Well, there's half an hour played here in what has been so far a fabulous game here in London. Both teams, every single time they go forward, look like they're going to score against each other, and now Paqueta almost tried to play it over. This time it is played over, but to the right hand side to Jared Bowen. He's going to try and play it into the big Swede. He's done a brilliant job of doing so, and he's going to try and play it across. I was looking for Somerville at the back post. There just wasn't enough strength on the pass, but my word, that would have been a fabulous goal. Into Decore, end-to-end stuff here as the left back Mitchell comes across again, but this time Mavropanos is equal to it, and now the Greek man can try and bring this one forward and try and play it into the channel, but he's blocked off by another centre-back, this time in Tompkins. Mavropanos has it again though, finds James Ward-Prowse on his right, blocked off. Lucas Paqueta keeps it alive, and that is not a good ball, and very unlike the Brazilian. Odegaard, the goal scorer, holding up the ball really nicely and wriggling away from the challenge of my centre-back here and playing it into the path of Lerma. Lerma tries to go past Van Ewijk, but once again the right back holds firm here, and now he chases him down and he wins the ball back, and that was not exactly what I planned. Mark Gay for West Ham being chased down by Gyökeres, but has done a really good job of holding him up, but not a good job, and Lucas Paqueta ends up winning it back, and now Gyökeres can feed it back into Jared Bowen, the goal scorer, down the right hand side here. He's going to try and go one-on-one with Mitchell. Mitchell though with some really good defending, but Jared Bowen hustling to try and get the ball back, but in the end Crystal Palace managed to wriggle away from our challenges, and now they can bring it forward. End-to-end stuff here, exactly as the first half was. The second half picks up exactly the same fashion. Lerma now being chased down by Alvarez. This West Ham press is relentless as Mark Gay almost loses the ball. Decore plays it out to Anderson on the right hand side of defence. He manages to get away from the challenge. Munoz now with a lovely ball over the top. My word, I thought Eze was going to be clean through there. Alvarez into Lucas Paqueta, twisting, turning, getting away, really nicely done from the Brazilian. Gyökeres doing the same thing here, and he's managed to keep hold of possession here as Crystal Palace back in numbers. Kudos on as a substitute, tried to get away from Mitchell, but it was good defending yet again from the left back, and now it's Palace's turn to try and bring this one away out of their half here. Eze perhaps with an early audition in front of me for a spot in the West Ham United team come next season, manages to pass the ball out to the right hand side, and now they try and play it into the box. Emerson though doesn't do enough, and he ends up going out for a corner. And it's going to be Eze who's going to take that corner, and he floats it in. It's a good ball into Munoz. In the end, Areola with the save, but doesn't manage to get on the second ball. And at the back post, Crystal Palace have managed to level the scores here. A calamity once again at the back. Oh, Areola, it looked like he spilled it through his arms. My word, he's got to be doing better than that, and we have got to make sure that we're switched on at the back post. I'm frustrated too all. Well, are we throwing this season away before our very eyes? What on earth are West Ham United doing? We were comfortable, we were 2-1 up here, and now we've got it all to do yet again. Into a shirt, Van Ewijk has continued his run down the right hand side, but the defenders haven't spotted him, and now James Ward-Prowse is going to try and see if he can play it through, but in the end Somerville stopped running and the ball wasn't right, and now Palace with a wonderful ball that certainly was right out to Schlupp. Schlupp tries to go past Azurd. Azurd held him off well. That's the first piece of defending that we've actually done well so far this episode, and Lucas Paqueta now can play it into Kudos on as a substitute, and now he can try and go down this right hand side. He hasn't got the beating of Mark A for pace. It was just too heavy a touch, and the English defender did really well, and he's done even better to get away, but Lucas Paqueta wins it back high. Now Gyökeres lines up a strike again. Oh, he's just dragged it wide. Well, I thought that was about to nestle into the top left-hand corner. Sorry, what a strike. The keeper was beaten. Oh, it was just centimetres away. Decore tries to get away from James Ward-Prowse, doesn't able to. James Ward-Prowse into Gyökeres. Gyökeres into Lucas Paquetá, trying to wriggle away from the challenge of the Crystal Palace defenders. In the end, they just about crowd him out as the referee blows for full time. But once again, as you can see, my head is down as I head down towards the tunnel. It's another huge opportunity that we have completely thrown away. Full time here it finishes, Palace 2, West Ham 2. All that to me is even more frustrating than the Chelsea game. It's a game that we were expected to win and a game that we could not get the job done. However, as luck would have it, with Liverpool drawing 3-3 away to Aston Villa, there is just a point separating us, and it is going to go down to the very final game in the Premier League. However, just when I'm about to implore this squad to go for one final push, it looks like we've got a problem, as apparently the media are reporting that Jarrod Bowen has gone storming off down the tunnel, absolutely furious to be taken off in a key point in the game against Crystal Palace. Now, to be fair to him, he did score the opening goal for us, and he is my highest goal scorer so far this season with 19 goals. However, it did seem like he was flagging, and I wanted to give the opportunity for this man, Mohamed Kudus, to try and come back in on the right-hand side. However, it clearly didn't work out, and with him now coming and knocking on my door, backing up the story that the media have come out with, demanding to know why he was subbed off at a pivotal moment in that game, I've just got to hope that my calming words are enough to pacify the 27-year-old Englishman as we head into what will likely be the biggest game of the season so far against Manchester City. And it's a game not only do we have to win, but it's a game that Manchester City have to win as well. Fighting against their arch rivals Manchester United for the Premier League title, level on points. They will be going all out to secure victory. And with Liverpool facing off at home against Wolves in their final game, we are going to be hoping for an absolute miracle here at the Etihad. But sometimes miracles come in the most unbelievable of circumstances, and perhaps that is going to be what is going to happen here today. It hasn't been the best episode in terms of played games. Can we make a change to that right here in what is going to be arguably the toughest game of the season? Can we get revenge on the team that beat us in the Carabao Cup final 1-0 and secure our spot in the Champions League proper ahead of our second season here at West Ham United? Let's find out. Out to Emerson on the left-hand side, wriggles away from the challenge of Silva really nicely. Kudus now on the left-hand side, plays it into Gyökeres, who switches it around the corner into James Ward-Prowse, who's going to try and fire it across into Lucas Paquetá on the head. It's an early chance, and really positive signs in the opening 5 minutes. Into James Ward-Prowse, shielding the ball really well, trying to get away from the challenge of Kevin De Bruyne. Not well enough though, and the Belgian wins it back and plays it into Bernardo Silva. Of course, plays it into the danger man Haaland. He's the last person you want driving into the box. Bernardo Silva is blocked off by Mavropanis, but they keep the ball alive with Kevin De Bruyne. They've got so much quality just littered through this team here. Kevin De Bruyne trying to get away from Lucas Paquetá, the man who is heavily linked to Manchester City in real life here. Bernardo Silva around the corner, back into Haaland. City just playing us apart here. Emerson tried to win it back, but Haaland picks up the loose ball, drives into the box, looking to shift it onto his left, wriggling away from the challenge of the Italian into Julian Alvarez. Areola with a big stop here. Van Ewig tried to get it away, but Zaghini wins it back, and now he plays it back into Matheus Nunes now. City keep the ball alive. Alvarez though with the big challenge. What a huge challenge from my best central midfielder at the club. Alvarez, a lovely ball into Haaland. City really starting up this opening 27 minutes here in the ascendancy, desperately searching for that winning goal that's going to hopefully win them the Premier League title, as Areola just palms that one away for a City corner. And it's one that Silva's going to take, and it looks like, well, they dummied the short one, threw it into the box. Paquetá with the header away. Not very far though, only out as far as Alvarez. Nunes lines up a shot. What a save. Well, my word, I thought that was about to crack into the back of the net there, but it was a brilliant save. But this time it's Ruben Diaz. Oh my word, Areola. My goodness, take a bow. That is 3 fabulous saves right on the bounce after a couple of pretty shoddy performances, it must be said, making amends at the most pivotal moments as Haaland now has it on the edge of the box, wriggles away, tries to get away from his shirt, doesn't manage to, but they play it in. Alvarez is onside. Areola though, oh my goodness, after 3 brilliant saves, he goes and commits an absolute howler. What was he doing? He just sort of stood there, let Alvarez just pass it past him. And now City take a 1-0 lead. Oh, Haaland with a lovely ball into Alvarez, who stayed on side. And Areola, well, what was he doing? He didn't really do anything. He just sort of stood there. And then it just fell. Well, actually, I mean, he kind of saved it with his left. But in the end, then he kind of moved away from the goal and just allowed Alvarez to just pass it into an empty net. Really disappointing once again from the Frenchman. 1-0 City. Over to Emerson on the left-hand side. Took that one brilliantly. And now the Italian can try and burst away, but doesn't manage to get away from the challenge of Kevin De Bruyne. And we've not really been able to carve out any opportunities so far as they almost try and play it in. But Assured read it really nicely ahead of the Belgian, and that is a brilliant ball into Van Ewijk. Van Ewijk into Lucas Paquetá, turns it around. Lucas Paquetá into Gyökeres, really nicely done. Another big squeeze, he can try and get into the box here, continues his run, really nicely done. That would have been a brilliant goal. But frustratingly for me, Ederson was equal to it, but it's Lucas Paquetá who's going to take the resulting corner, and this is the first real foray we've had into the Manchester City half. Jarrod Bowen with the head, it's high and wide. Well, are our chances of Champions League football ahead of the new season slowly slipping away from us? We've got 45 minutes here to try and see if we can turn the game around, but it is away from home against Manchester City. It's going to be the toughest opposition to do that against. But we've done a good enough job of getting it away, and now Gyökeres plays it into James Ward-Prowse, but the Englishman is not going to have the pace to get away from Rico Lewis, but he does manage to have the wherewithal to manage to find his way all the way over, to the left-hand side and play it back to Emerson. Now it's Mavropanos. He brings it forward into Alvarez finally. Alvarez tries to turn it around the corner. It's not good enough. And again, it's our final pass in the final third that's letting us down. Kevin De Bruyne out to Bernardo Silva. He's got space here to run into down the right side. He's been chased by Emerson, but he doesn't manage to get the challenge in. The referee plays advantage. Julian Alvarez now into the path of Gavardio. Back into Kevin De Bruyne. Turns it around. Lucas Paquetá wins it back. And now the Brazilian can try and see if he can get away here and try and see if he can release a ball into Kudus. Kudus certainly has the pace here to try and drive down this left-hand side. Instead, checks back onto his right. Plays it into Lucas Paquetá. Lucas Paquetá now to check it back into the big Swede. Kevin De Bruyne once again is in the right place at the right time. That man has been absolutely brilliant, and you would expect nothing less from the big Belgian, but it's really nice play. Alvarez into Lucas Paquetá, who tried to play it into Gyökeres, but it was just that last challenge from the Manchester City defence once again proving their class. Into Haaland. Haaland can't get it past James Ward-Prowse, has done a really good job of coming back here. Mavropanos now out to Emerson. This is really starting to turn into an end-to-end game here. Lovely ball, lovely pass into Kudus. He's got the pace to get away from Rico Lewis on his left. That is absolutely splendid. A wonderful goal, absolutely taken with aplomb by Mohamed Kudus on that left-hand side. Well, the defence-splitting pass from Emerson was absolutely exquisite, and the finish was nothing short of superb from Kudus. He just took it on the left foot after managing to wriggle away from a couple of challenges and having the pace to get into the box. A lovely finish in the end, much to Pep Guardiola's disgust, 1-1. Well, we've got 10 minutes remaining on the clock here for either of these two teams to get the job done and secure either the Premier League title or hopefully Champions League qualification in our case. Who is going to be the team to do just that? Van Ewijk. Lovely ball into James Ward-Prowse. He's cut off though by Gavardio. Really nicely done by the big Croatian. And he plays it into Erling Haaland, into Kevin De Bruyne, back into Julian Alvarez. They're looking for options up ahead of him. Finds Bernardo Silva, really nicely taken. He takes it down with his head, shapes up to strike. It's Nunez, big save. Well, we're well over the allotted time here. It's going to be Manchester City with the corner. It's going to be Bernardo Silva to take it here. It's floated into the box. Gyökeres with the big head. Nunez is getting on the end of it. Paquetá is the man who does. Paquetá to bring it forward, but the referee blows for full time. Well, it's a result that neither team wanted here, it must be said. It doesn't help either of our causes. It's 2 points drop for the pair of us as it finishes here at full time, 1-1. But with Manchester United only managing a 2-2 draw away from home against Brighton, City are still crowned champions. However, the same wonderful fate cannot be said for us, as Liverpool do manage to get the job done at home against Wolves, 2-1, and it means that they secure Champions League football. We end up 5th, and it will be Europa League once again for West Ham United. However, I've got to be honest, if you'd have given me that league position at the start of the season, I would have absolutely bitten your hand off for it, as would the board, as we've hit one of their objectives. And as for this team, whilst we have done very well, and I believe that's West Ham's highest finish in Premier League history, we've still got a lot of work to do if we want to take it to the next level. I think the entirety of my defence needs improving right across the back line, and arguably even my goalkeeper needs improving as well. Ideally, I need better midfield prospects than James Ward-Prowse, and who knows what the future holds for this man Lucas Paquetá in the summer. And once again, as I always say, let me know down below in the comments what you think I should do. Who should be my top targets heading into the summer transfer window, and who would you like to see plying their trade in a West Ham United shirt next season? As for the current players though, it's Jarrod Bowen who's going to finish off our highest goal scorer with 19 goals to his name in a fabulous campaign for the 27-year-old Englishman. Victor Gyökeres follows him up in second place. Yes, a few of those goals did come in his previous club, but he scored 9 goals in 16 Premier League games, and I'm really hopeful if we have him across an entire season, he could be an absolutely huge asset for me heading into season 2. And with Lucas Paquetá coming in third with 10 goals and 6 assists to his name, what is going to happen to the future of the 85-year-old Brazilian? But of course, I do still have a big question mark over James Ward-Prowse as well. He's my club captain, and obviously he's got 12 assists to his name and 9 goals in what was a terrific campaign for him. However, with him just being 79 rated United is the weakest part of my midfield. Do I keep him as a starter or do I try and improve on him? Let me know what you think. However, that is going to be that for the end of today's episode. I hope you did enjoy it, and I do hope you will join me for the start of Season 2 in what is going to be a terrific, hopefully a terrific campaign for West Ham United. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you again next time.